Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
You guys good?
All right, good to see everyone again. Really excited to be coming off the victory Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, I should say. We played so many night games, but thought our guys really attacked the week real well with their preparation. That mindset of moving forward, and then that played out for the most part on the game field on Saturday against a team that was very dangerous in Northern Arizona. I thought we were very aggressive in our mindset on offense, and that resulted in 4 for 4 on our drives for touchdowns in the first half. And then defensively, we did a good job. We gave them a little bit, but by and large, we did a really good job of slowing down the run game, and they really had the intentions of running the football, especially with how they played the quarterbacks, and really limited their big plays for the most part. They've been a big play offense over the years. And in special teams, I think we continued to cover well. Brendan continued to kick and punt well, and then to get all of the points on the board from a field goal extra point perspective with Casey was a positive. And now we got to move forward. I think another really dangerous team in Eastern Washington is coming off a big victory where they scored a lot of points in that first half, in particular against Cal Poly. They've been a team that's been able to kind of score with everybody they've played, and they've, I'm sure, gave everybody fits as far as just, their ability to compete with them. Again, like Eastern Washington typically is, they got an explosive offense, good quarterback play, good running backs, good receivers. They're averaging about 33 points a game. And that certainly stands out. And defensively, they've certainly played well at times. They start 8 seniors. I think that's the one thing that you look at right away. A lot of experience on that side of the ball. They can get after the passer at times. They can pressure. They probably pressure a little bit more than I seem to remember from the last couple of years. And we're going to have to be on top of that. So pleased with the win. Another big week ahead of us. One more regular season home game here. We'll get a chance to honor our seniors, and I always look forward to that opportunity because they mean so much to this program. And we got to put our best foot forward to get another win. So that'll open it up.
You mentioned it right there, but obviously had some talented senior classes the last couple of years. But I guess honoring this senior class Saturday, what will that mean to you personally?
Well, I think as they go on, you're with these guys, one additional year, I suppose. Being here 3 years, and these guys aren't all guys that have been with us 3 years necessarily, but obviously in different forms they've meant a lot to our program for a long time. And then I certainly look at, in particular, the time that I've been here, a really resilient group. We spoke about that group that came in as 6-year guys back in 2018, and all that they've been through and persevered, and we'll continue to leave a lasting impression for many, many years as far as their stories, the way they've gone about their business, and the way they've probably led in particular down the stretch here. So
you faced Eastern both times on the road so far. How happy are you to get them at home this time? And then how do those 2 close games kind of affect you going into this one?
Well, yeah, it is good to be playing them at home this time. Always a hard place to play over there in Cheney. I think like last week, when you have the opponent that took you to the brink the year before, and in this case, 2 close games, I think our guys are fully aware of what they're capable of. This one obviously much later in the year than it was last year. That game seems like a long time ago, but that was a game that we probably shouldn't have won in many regards, and we found a way to at the end. So, that they're going to be explosive on offense, have a lot of different ways they can move the football, and then defensively, I think very dangerous. So, we're our eyes are open certainly against this opponent, and it becomes much less about looking at their current record. Just say, hey, this is how they competed against us the last couple of years.
And injury updates.
Yeah, on offense, I think the best way to put Trayton's situation right now is questionable. He got rolled up on pretty good on the play that he ultimately went out on, but too early in the week, I think, to rule him out. At the same time, I do think Jared will be all right. He was probably in a situation, maybe had that second half been a little tighter, where he maybe could have come back. And then anticipate that Drew will be back this week.
You mentioned Eastern's offense. So their quarterback and beat the conference in passing yards. What have you seen from him on film?
Well, the thing you look at first, just numbers wise, the high completion percentage, just about 66%, has been able to spread the ball around. Chisholm obviously has a lot of receptions, 67, I believe. A lot of those are screen zone. I think they would see that as an extension of their run game. He's really good up to catch, but then the other two starters have, I think, combined about 60 catches. So they're able to spread it around. He's mobile enough to extend plays and make plays with his feet. They've also run out a couple other guys, 13 and 15 out there, and those guys both have over 200 yards rushing. So, I think they've had pretty steady quarterback play, through this year. And I'm sure as a younger player, he's continued to gain confidence as the season's gone along.
And then I know you kind of mentioned it's defensively. Is there any players in particular that passed it out on that right now?
Well, I think for me, it started with their defensive ends. I know Johnson was a player of the week this past week. He's a long range defensive end. And then I know Harrison is a guy that's played a lot of football. I'd start with those two. I think they're linebackers. Those are their three top tacklers on their defense, all seniors. I think do a good job of being in the right places and tackling football. I do think, and again, we played them game 4 last year, so there's a lot of games in between, but I think compared to last year, I do think they're a little bit more aggressive, with their coverage, and then in turn with their pressure and their willingness to bring pressure. So, we're going to have to be ready for probably the most aggressive version that they can show. I think that's typically what we get from week to week. I think their defense is very capable.
At Blackfoot Communications, our mission is to connect people, businesses, and communities, bringing a world-class fiber network to homes, communities, and businesses of all sizes. Ensures Montanans have access to fast, reliable, and secure internet and phone services. Are you ready for fiber internet? To find out if fiber is coming to your area, visit goblackfoot.com/readyforfiber. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications.
Anything else? Coulter, do you have anything?
Sure. Hey, Coach. Just from, you mentioned just the aggressiveness of Eastern Washington. The quarterback, he can get out a little bit more on the edge than the guy last year. How much does that impact what they do offensively?
Well, quite a bit. And I think, it appears that there's a comfortability for him on the run throwing, whether that's a designed play action or a dash pass or a sprint out, or then the unscripted, and quarterbacks either tend to gravitate towards throwing on the run or not. He certainly seems like one that does. So, keeping him in the pocket so those unscripted ones don't happen, and then trying to get as much pressure on him when it is a designed out of pocket type of rollout play, that we have to be able to do that. And it goes beyond saying that we got to cover and make it difficult for him to find the open guy.
Defensively, they looks pretty similar. I know they're pretty good on the back end. Is it schematically any different than the last matchup with them?
I just think they're playing a more aggressive brand, and that's 7 games from last year plus all the games this year. We're quite a ways removed from that game. So I think that starts with their ability to cover on the back end. The more comfortable you are with your guys covering in tight situations and man-to-man situations, the more apt you are to want to say, okay, we can bring a fifth guy, we can bring a sixth guy. So that's probably the thing that it's not like their overall scheme is much different. I think it's just how it's playing out on Saturdays is a more aggressive form.
But I know you talked a little bit post game on Saturday just about the execution and the urgency early on. But I just wondered if you could readdress that, because I mean, you guys' first couple offensive possessions particularly were very, very impressive.
Yeah, I think you get that first down. I think that was a pretty big deal. We didn't get that first down the week prior in Idaho for too long a time, and it allows your play sheet to play out a little bit differently when you have the number of plays. I think the first half number of plays was about to flip offense defense from the week before. So what you saw in those first few drives is you saw the variety of our ability to run the football in full effect. It wasn't just hand the ball off to the running backs. It was getting on the perimeter. It was getting the ball in our receivers' hands a few times. It was certainly a wide variety of all the things that we can do. And that's when we're at our best, when we can be physical up front and we can get off the ball, but then on the flip side, the ball's going all different kinds of directions, and it's being touched by a lot of our playmakers. But it's a matter of getting that first down and getting that second set of downs, and that was critical in that the start of that game, and we did that. We were able to make some third down plays. I think a fourth down play at some point within that first quarter. And just we got ourselves in a lot better down and distances just in general. And that's the key to how we want to play, stay ahead of the chains, keep them guessing, rely on a lot of different guys to touch the football, and all at the same time, our O-line's doing a pretty small amount of schemes. So that played out very well, and it's going to need to continue that way.
Tommy's decision making on Saturday seemed like it was pretty sharp. I mean, how would you evaluate it?
Yeah. There was maybe a couple times that he handed off when he could have pulled it. I think that's the error we would want to make, as opposed to the ball he should hand off and he takes off and run. He didn't have any of those. I thought he really did a good job of using his speed. And that's a decision he has to make, as opposed to cutting back in the middle of the field. He got to the perimeter quite a bit. And then on the passing side of things, was pretty clean as far as his timing, how he saw it, and where he went with the football, and great again to execute a 2-minute drive. And that was a huge turning point. We stopped them on fourth down, and then we're able to turn that into 7 and go up 28-7. They had the ball coming out that second half. So our ability to finish that drive this weekend was a big part in why we were able to win the football game.
I want to ask you about a couple of the seniors maybe we haven't talked about as much this year. First of all, Blake Heel, I mean, seemed like he's played a pretty important role, even if he hasn't gotten a lot of headlines, just providing so much depth there on the inside.
Yeah. Getting Blake healthy was the big thing in the offseason. I think this time last year, we probably would have questioned whether he would play again. Had offseason actually back surgery, and he came back a new man, and really had a good offseason through the summer. And he's played a key role, and it's very unsung. But his ability to go out there and allow in particular Blake Schmidt to get off the field, or Sebastian Valdez, but more maybe Blake, him and Paul Broad play a big role, and I think the more consistent they've been, the more the D-line coaches have put those guys in the field. And we, that's something we need to do on a week in, week out basis, where Blake's getting a 20 play at least run, and he's, not just going out there, but he's been real effective. So credit to him, wanting to finish out his career on his own terms. And, he's been a real key player on our defense this fall.
And David also, I mean, he's had some big moments, especially early in the year. But I mean, what's it take to get a guy like that has Big Ten credentials to buy into the role that you've given him, and how do you think he's done at that role?
Yeah, David was a guy highly recruited, ends up at Nebraska. And when he transferred, had the 3-year potential left, which, he was coming as a graduate at the same time. So, a 6-year guy that spent half his time in one spot and half in another is not typical, I don't think. And I think what happened pretty early on is David found that this was the right place for him. He had a role, in 21, and he's worked through some injuries at the same time. That group in 22 and 23 for us at defensive end has virtually been the same. So I think it's understood that they all, have their role within that. Brody and Ben have been able to really keep those starting spots, locked down through most of these 2 seasons. And, a guy like David's really played his role well. And, I think at the end of the day, he found a place that fit him well. It wasn't going to be about the playing time and the stats necessarily. It was just, he's a team player, a guy that he wanted to be a part of something bigger than him. And he's a really smart young man. And I just appreciate his unselfishness, I guess. That's not typical, I don't think, at the end of the day in the transfer game, but that's been who he has been while he's been with us.
And the last one I want to ask you about is Tavion Williams. He's done a lot for you guys sort of in the offseason stuff. He played corner that one spring for a little while. So, what have you thought of just his flexibility?
Yeah, Tavion's been a very useful player. Let's put it that way, meaning at any turn, he's done whatever we asked. And again, a guy that, if you said what's a high characteristic that he has, it's unselfishness, and he's played a key role in special teams this year, building off, a really solid year last year. He's become more integrated offensively this year. But you think about him, my first 2 years here, yes, it was the playing corner in spring ball just to get us through. It was playing scout team running back over and over again those first 2 years in the fall when we were continuing to be short. It was really doing whatever we asked. That's hard. Guys don't come to college to be playing on the scout team necessarily in their 4th and 5th year, but that's where he was, and he continued to work. I think he felt like, hey, I'm going to be able to make it. And everybody's definition of making it is their own. And I would say that Tavion's made it. He's played a key role this fall and will continue to, and really appreciate him for his efforts.
And last one from me, just handling the emotion. It's obviously your last guaranteed home game. I think you guys are probably going to get another one after this, but just in the regular season, it's a big moment for the senior guys. So how do you sort of talk them through that, and how do you hope they handle the emotions on Saturday?
Yeah, you want them to enjoy that moment, that recognition that they get before the game, that opportunity to have their families out there. But you still want to remind them that their lasting memory is going to be how that game plays out on that field. So, encourage them to take all that in, and, whatever those emotions, however they come flooding into you, that's the way you should feel emotional. You know what? A lot of, blood, sweat, and tears put into this program, and that's an opportunity to get recognized for that. Take a deep breath afterwards, and then, like we want to, once that kickoff happens, it's about the game, and make the memory there as well to kind of cap the whole experience off for that day. So, I don't discourage the emotion, I guess, is maybe the biggest thing, but once the game gets going, it's still about the game.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else in the room?
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Do you have a DUI or misdemeanor conviction? If so, don't let your past hold you back. Hi, I'm attorney Dave Maldonado, and you may be eligible to have your record cleared today. Visit BigSkyDefender.com to see how.